Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 22 with me, Dan, and the BMW Slothz Tech team as we get underway with the home Grand Prix today, and we'll finally be looking to get a win here after it's eluded us multiple times in the past, but we have actually done pretty well at this circuit on the both occasions that we've been here before. Anyway, in the background you can just see that a few of the upgrades that we've been trying to bring in over the last couple of races have just succeeded, and we've moved on to practice one to try and pick up as many resource points as we can. Once again, the options now becoming very limited to the odd aero and chassis upgrade, but mostly reliability because we haven't really invested in that at all over the entire time that we've been doing this career mode. So going forward, we'll be finishing up the aero department, which only has a few more upgrades to go, finishing up the brakes, which are the last major thing in the chassis, and then all we'll have left are the reliability upgrades mixed in with the odd spec-free power unit, but I think that there's a limited number of those, and then it's pretty much just reliability, fuel efficiency and tyre wear. After that, assuming we do go ahead with Season 4, it does really depend on when the next game is released. Will dictate on whether or not that actually happens or not. Then we'll be trying to save up enough points as possible for the switchover to reliability to regulation changes, assuming they happen. Hopefully they do, just to mix up the field slightly. Anyway, post practice, heading over to aero, picking up the last couple of upgrades in the front wing, master cylinder upgrades for the chassis, and there you can see the performance graph. We're actually up to third now, but yeah, clearly 5 teams at the top of the table, which we've been rivaling pretty much all season. Alpine and Ferrari starting to slip away though. Red Bull though making some big upgrades. Right, it's on to the racing. So then, the British Grand Prix. We did incredibly well here in the first season when we had the worst car on the grid. We achieved a top 10 result, and it was one of the only times that we were able to actually score any points in that season. Just to give you an idea of how bad that was, you can go and see that over on the old channel. But for any future races, including Season 3 and the possible Season 4, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notifications. That is for this new channel, which has been going for nearly a month now, and thank you for all of the support. If you have subscribed, liked the video, watched the video, all of the above. Anyway, onto the starting grid, and no surprises there. We're actually starting on the front row, and joining us is our teammate Carlos Sainz, which is absolutely fantastic to see. First time that we've had a 1-2 start as a team. Behind us, we have our rivals Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, George Russell, and rounding out the top 10 is Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, Pierre Gasly and Kevin Magnussen, Lando Norris with a penalty alongside Alex Albon, Teo Pourchaire and Dan Ticktum, Yuki Tsunoda and Oscar Piastri, Zhou Guanyu and Robert Schwartzman, and finally Nicholas Latifi and Mick Schumacher, 2 seconds slower than the pole position lap time. Aston Martin having an absolute dog of a time right now, hence the need for some regulation changes. There's some race performance between us and our teammate over the last few races. We take 2 out of 3 victories against them over the last 3 Grand Prix. We didn't have the best of results recently, but there's the Drivers' Championship as well. I just missed out on who was leading that. But it's time to get down to the race, and look, there is our old teammate, Teo Pourchaire and Audi. Well then, it's time to get underway with 5 red lights, and away we go at the British Grand Prix. The Haas getting a little excited in the background, but Carlos Sainz with a fantastic getaway gets us at the start line. Max Verstappen as well, getting past his teammate Sergio Perez as we go steaming into turn 3. Fernando Alonso as well. I don't know if that appeared in the wide shot there, but absolutely steamrolls past both Red Bulls into turn 3. What an absolute saint of a move that was. And we'll now be trying to catch up with our teammate Carlos Sainz, so we know if he started on the front row with us, he's going to be quick here and a formidable opponent at this circuit. Maybe we could even finish the race 1-2. Oh my God, that would be incredible. Further down the order, as we continue our pursuit of Slothz, looks as though Verstappen has dropped back behind an Alpine, so he's having an absolute dog of a day. And Carlos Sainz now through Maggots and Beckett's. We're closing in ever so slightly, and we're going to need to try and get past him at the start here and maybe try and pull a gap between us just so he doesn't get past us with DRS, because if there's one car that can match us for straight line speed on this grid, it's our teammate. But we get past before the end of the straight. Look it round, and we are pretty safe from him as we come down towards Club. But Carlos Sainz has other ideas, and he throws it up the inside. Absolutely embarrasses us in front of the home crowd. Absolutely disgusting from Carlos Sainz. And I couldn't be happier, to be honest. He sets the fastest lap, humiliating us in front of the crowd at our home Grand Prix. This was his start, just to rub it in my face. Gets away absolutely wonderfully and takes position at the front of the field. This was Fernando Alonso, the fellow Spaniard to Carlos Sainz, sends it down the inside of the Red Bulls, and you can see Sergio Perez there. I think that's him from the colour of his helmet in the mirror. It's so small I cannot see. Tries to challenge, but ultimately, as they get onto the straight, he has to slide in behind. Meanwhile, we rejoin on lap 3, still in pursuit of Sainz, clearly running behind him, and trying a traditional overtake is not going to put him back in his place as number 2 driver at this team. So the only thing that we can do is wait for the DRS, which we have done. And the straight line speed advantage is so noticeable already. We get past way earlier than last time, and hopefully keep the position. Is he going to make another brave attempt? No, we've got the ERS on just in case, and position ourselves slightly further to the left just to stop any dangerous thoughts that he may be having. And it seems to be working as well, because 2 laps later he's behind us with the DRS, but we're giving him a lovely tow away from the Red Bulls behind and Fernando Alonso. But unfortunately, we leave him on his own as we come into one of the worst pit lanes in the world because of how slow it is. Then again, I suppose there are reasons for that. Joining us in the pit lane, we have Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, and it looks like Lewis Hamilton stayed out, so that's Charles Leclerc in, and Esteban Ocon as well joining the party. And, well, we haven't had many issues with the pit crew for a while now since we switched them over to Spec 2. And, yep, we're away absolutely fine. Everyone else files out behind as well. And we rejoin the action on lap 6, now 7. Where is everyone going to come out ahead of us? There's Alonso and Verstappen having some disagreements in the background. And somehow Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez have managed to execute an overcut on us. So now we've got all the work to do. The crowd will be happy though, because Lewis Hamilton is leading the race in a Ferrari. And it didn't take too long to catch up to the back of these two. You can see the gap on the mini-map there ahead of Carlos Sainz is quite substantial. But once those cars come into the pit lane, we will be running as the top 3. Only Perez has managed to close up quite significantly from where he was earlier. But we come steaming up behind the Red Bull, and unfortunately Carlos Sainz is right in the way there. We have to force Perez to make a move. He nearly hits our teammate on the front right tyre there, or the front wing, and he takes the position. Carlos Sainz, as we know, is clearly not very happy about not winning this race. So he may come back as we have a big slide into the final corner there. We've rejoined later on the lap. This is lap 8 now. We've got 6 laps to go. Trying to maintain a good distance to our teammate. Much easier to follow now with these 22 spec cars. In terms of following through there, it's so much better. We still run wide at the exit of Maggots and Beckett's, but now you can see the straight line speed advantage we have over our teammate. We are still not able to make a move because Carlos Sainz was not quite close enough. and we were probably going to end up just having a massive crash. But Sergio Perez decides to do the work for us, and he locks up again for what must be the millionth time this season, and it's really costing him. Now we go on board with Carlos Sainz as he tries to go round the outside of the Red Bull Porsche to turn 1. He's fighting. He's not giving this place up. He really wants this win here today. This is excellent fighting spirit and exactly what we need to try and beat McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. He is really fighting Sergio Perez here to try and get the maximum points this weekend. They're still side by side coming down the Wellington Straight. All we can do is open the DRS and try and go around the pair of them as we go down the inside of Sergio Perez now. On board we go, and we are somehow still ahead of them. Unfortunately, with all the fighting that's been going on, it looks as though Max Verstappen has decided to try and catch up. Or is that Fernando Alonso? It's both of them, actually. That's terrible news. So a 5-way fight now for P1, and the closest position to us, I think, is Lewis Hamilton in P6. Is one of the Ferraris, but they're quite a way off. So unless this fight starts to get really messy, they're not going to be closing up anytime soon. Stroll and Norris are yet to pit, so forget them. They're irrelevant in this whole thing. As Verstappen again goes side by side with Alonso in the background, and we rejoin the action on the lap 11 now. Sergio Perez is going to try and go past us. The other cars have come into the pit lane. We just about hang on here. Sergio Perez, I believe, is alongside us as we've run wide there. He is alongside us. Coming into the hairpin now onto the Wellington Straight. Who's going to get the DRS? That is the big question. I would have thought the Red Bull there, if anyone. We go defensive. Carlos Sainz goes to look at the back of the Red Bull. Ultimately, it does cost him there, and he runs quite wide, almost losing a position to Max Verstappen. Had he been feeling a little bit aggressive today, he probably would have lost that position. Obviously, at this point in the Grand Prix, we've got to be conscious of the fact that one mistake could cost us everything, but we've also got to try and get our teammate back ahead of Sergio Perez in order to secure this 1-2. So this is going to be crucial. We've got 2 laps to go. Perez is going to make another move up the inside. We force him towards the grass and managed to stay ahead of him. It really compromised him there. And we rejoin at the end of the lap. Carlos Sainz we're on board with now, given that we've just run away to try and get the fastest lap and score maximum points. Carlos Sainz down the inside of Sergio Perez, and he gets the position away for the Red Bull, squeezes him out wide, and that is the end of that. Rather than following me throughout this entire final lap, we may as well follow this because there's going to be no action up ahead. Look, the gap that we've pulled already is over a second. Of course, we don't want to go too far ahead because it would be nice to give DRS to Sainz. But ultimately, the AI will just empty the battery on this final lap. So as long as he doesn't run out, he should be absolutely fine. As he comes through the hairpin. If he does spin here, he'll drop all the way down to 5th. Best case scenario. More than likely, we'll just stop on the exit to a corner and wait for everyone to go past and finish behind Nicholas Latifi. If he does decide to throw it into a corner, we've extended our lead now to nearly 2 seconds, so clearly going to get the fastest lap here. If not, then that will be incredibly annoying. But this is the crucial moment now. Can Carlos Sainz stay ahead of Sergio Perez? Can he keep the gap through Maggots and Beckett's at the highest that he can? Perez doing a really good job at staying within 2 tenths here. It's just going to give him the best chance that he can, but he also has to be conscious of Fernando Alonso, who is no stranger to throwing it at another car and trying to get past him. As Sergio Perez goes to the outside, Carlos Sainz defends to the inside. He squeezes out the Red Bull and he holds position now as we come into the final couple of corners. We switch perspective to me as we come round. We are going to cross the line P1, and Carlos Sainz is going to finish the race behind us in P2. An absolutely fantastic result for us at our home Grand Prix. And there we go, throwing pointed fingers and swear words at every other driver as they go past, talking trash, and ultimately just gearing up for a horrible event of karma, like slipping on the podium, which is covered in champagne, and cracking our head open on the top step. But there we go. We've managed to celebrate with the team. Most importantly, though, as we come out onto the podium, a sore winner, if ever there was one, with the dance moves like that. We lift the trophy and we get to celebrate with our teammate for quite possibly the first time ever on the channel securing a 1-2. I don't remember if Sean Galale ever did. So here are the race results, and yes, of course, we did pick up the win and the fastest lap in the end, followed by our teammate and Sergio Perez. Then we had Fernando Alonso, Max Verstappen, Esteban Ocon, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. This means over in the Drivers' Championship, we take the lead ahead of both McLaren drivers, so Fernando Alonso and then Lando Norris. Behind them we have Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz moves up to 8th, Lance Stroll and Esteban Ocon. Behind there we have George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Dan Ticktum, Oscar Piastri, Alex Albon, Théo Pourchaire, Robert Schwartzman, Joe Guan Yu, Mick Schumacher and Nicolas Latifi. And then finally over to the Constructors' Championship. It's McLaren at the top still, but we move up ahead of Red Bull into 2nd. Then in 4th we have Ferrari, then Alpine, Mercedes, AlphaTauri, Haas, Williams, Audi and Aston Martin. And that's all for now. We'll catch you for the sprint race in Austria.